I never did have the impending confrontation with grandfather. Mom and I also didn't go right back to Maine, but stopped off in Canada where we stayed for a couple weeks. As I am sure you can imagine, I got a very strong talking to by Mommy Beth and Daddy Phil. I even got one extremely firm swat to my bare backside by Daddy Phil, followed by a bear hug. Joey, who already thought I was the bestest big brother ever, now thinks I am the coolest person on the planet and wants to grow up to be just like me. I know this because he told me so at least 500 times. For about 2 weeks, Mom and I were as happy as could be in Canada. Then the news came that grandfather had fallen ill. We rushed back to Maine where we learned he had a stroke. He is unable to care for himself, and now spends his days lying in one of the upstairs rooms cared for by private nurses, grandmother and Mom. As he is unable to communicate with the outside world, I have taken to spending time with him, sitting by his bed regaling him with the happenings of my day. I tell him all about things I know he would not approve of, such as starting up a surfing school at Aquaboggin Water Park. I know it is evil of me, but I get so much joy watching his brow furrow. By the way, the surfing school was my grandmother's idea. No kidding. She even hired a guy who takes me there every weekend. You might be surprised to learn that you already know the driver she hired. It was none other than Doug Bliskin, the 7-foot-tall Australian biker guy Mom, John, and I had met on our way from California to Maine when we'd had that flat tire oh so long ago. He'd seen all the stuff on the news about me and subsequently John, and came to Maine to check up on Mom and me. Although they don't know that I know, I think Mom and him are sweet on each other. Please don't think for a minute that I got away with no punishment for running away and for all the trouble I caused. Besides many tongue lashings, getting my butt kicked by my friend Larry for lying to him, as well as the swat to my backside by Daddy Phil, Micah was the one to really let me have it. She broke a wooden spoon across my padded posterior. The instant she saw me, despite Mother standing right there, grabbed my shoulder, spun me around and gave me 5 amazingly hard hits before the spoon broke. I have zero doubt that she would have kept going had that dang spoon not snapped in half. Even through my diaper, it stung a lot. Following my spanking, I got the best hug ever from her. Unfortunately, the spanking wasn't enough punishment for her as she also kept feeding me the worst foods for nearly 2 weeks until I begged her to forgive me and promised I would never ever do anything so stupid again. You would not believe the smells that came out of me because of those foods. The stench would have gagged a maggot. Grandmother, when she isn't caring for grandfather, has taken up tennis. Well, actually, she's not as much taken up tennis as she has taken up with her 25-year-old tennis instructor, Victor. Yeah, I know. Gross, huh? I'm not sure if I should actually put this into print, but I think grandmother is happier since grandfather had his stroke. Mom is doing so much better and has taken over the day-to-day running of the family business. However, despite becoming an accomplished businesswoman, she never, ever misses dinner with grandmother and me. After leaving California, I never saw Meek again. A couple weeks after returning to Maine, Meek had again gone missing. The police, his parents, and even his boyfriend Pepper questioned me on several occasions. However, I knew nothing and could offer no clues as to Meek's whereabouts. Then almost a month after he had vanished, I received a postcard, which I knew could have only come from him. On the front was a picture of 2 women in long matching sequin gowns, standing in front of Mount Rushmore. The woman on the left was a tall African-American woman, and beside her a beautiful, alabaster-skinned younger woman, both of which were smiling gleefully for the camera. On the back were the following words, written in such a way that only I could truly understand their full meaning. Jimmy. My future is in Destiny's hands now. Mama sends her love. Miss my little brother and wish you were here. Love, Mindy Lynn. My friends, Bertha, Larry, Fish, BB, Chris and Stax are completely normal, well as normal as any of them can be, and despite the fact that for a while there I was internationally famous, they don't treat me any different. And as for my love life, I'm sorry to say that Jacqueline and I never did get back together. However, that's okay because I'm not exactly single anymore. Back in California, when we 4 final competitors came back to land, Louisa had thrown down her board, walked up to me, grabbed my face with both hands and plastered a big, sloppy kiss right on my lips, followed by the way, I'd like to say I've always found you extremely attractive. She's coming to Maine in a couple weeks and we're going to surf at the water park. I can't wait to see her again.